I mean, really, the only thing that is the norm for us is white guys with microphones that are talking.
White guys with microphones will inherit the earth. People love white guys with microphones on the internet. Like we
Do
just
they?
have to hold
Do they
this.
actually?
It's their favorite thing. We talked about it last week a
Just
little
holding
bit.
it? Yeah.
And there was
Did we get a comment?
A clip we posted on social of us talking about white guys with or not white guys, but just podcast equipment.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
banning it. And
how many
that.
podcasts there are? And
Yeah, and like
licensing
the first
yourself.
comment on there was like you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to ban. I mean, come and pry this microphone on my cold, dead hands. I dare you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, joke's on them. It's not our first rodeo.
That's true. We've all been on a lot of rodeos. We just we're
just riding horses and bulls and
yeah, we're cowboys.
Cowboys.
They don't know it yet. That's all. It's a good time to be alive, you know, cowboys. And the coolest thing since Bitcoin and crypto is now artificial intelligence.
That's true.
That's exciting.
That is
it's your favorite thing, I think. Right?
No.
You love it?
I don't know. It's complicated. I feel like there are aspects of it that I really think should be able to help society. I
was trying to put my Diet Coke in the cat dish. Didn't work.
That would have been disastrous if that had spilled over. You would have had to go get a new one.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think with AI, like there's a lot of really great applications out there.
Sure.
I think in like the creative realm,
like the kind where you could put your face on something else, like an animal.
Yeah.
Or
like those were things that people had to have a skill to be able to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like I can't Photoshop worth crap.
Yeah.
But like you've used Photoshop a lot in your career, mm-hmm. and you can make a lot of really cool images.
Sort of cool, yeah.
Sort of cool, yeah. And so like there's like I see that even as like art form. Like you have to have the ability to be able to see it, to be able to work, to be able to make it look right.
Yeah.
When you are altering images like that. And so now we're at this point where like even the stuff that, you know, some people may have seen as like fringe art or whatnot that still took skill.
DeviantArt.com.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Someone still had to actually create that.
Yeah.
Now it's just saying, hey, like go and make this, and then I don't know, there's a lot of like aspects of someone else's art being stolen, and
you
to
saw
be
that
able
with
to
like the Studio Ghibli stuff,
Yeah.
where it's like AI is learning other artists' styles and then
Right.
replicating it, which I get that,
because
that
it's been
sucks.
fed some of that person's art, like whether it was only a couple of pieces of artwork that they'd done, or like their entire catalog, like that is somebody's art that's been used now to generate a bunch of other things that look a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think there's also now the aspect of like I have to second guess every image that I see in a way that I don't think we've ever had to do.
And that's the nice thing about being an old person.
You just
You just
accept
think
it all
it's
as
all real.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I look at it a little differently. I think it's like AI is kind of like any technology that makes things more accessible. This one probably just feels the grossest to people just because of the fact that it is like art does feel like it, like AI art feels kind of soulless a lot of times.
Yeah.
Where it's like artists put a lot of their personalities into what they create and makes it really unique.
Right.
And so if AI just rips that off, it feels really soulless. But I think it's the same as this podcast joke we were making earlier, that it's like the more accessible technology got, the easier it was for everybody to have a radio show. It used to be only the people who had a radio could get on radio. It was so limited.
Right.
They're the only ones that were allowed to have a voice. But now that podcast equipment is so readily available and accessible, people anywhere can do it. Same with, I mean, I think even stuff like GarageBand and even like Logic, and maybe to a certain extent the way Pro Tools is more easier to get a hold of than ever. It's like music creation is more accessible, and but yeah, I think it's really a mixed bag. AI is probably just it's got the most morally gray areas for people to deal with.
I think there's like a lot of other applications, not just talking in like creating images or whatnot, or creating music. Like those kinds of things feel like they're like borderline icky, like murky water for me.
Except for that drummer who like plays the drums to all the AI songs.
Yeah, but those AI songs are fire.
Oh, so you're okay with them?
No, I think it's the fact that they're so like over the top, like dumb.
Yeah.
That it's like this is not something that some person actually wrote.
Yeah.
Like if some person actually wrote that, it probably wouldn't have made it anywhere. And that's kind of the shtick with that music. But I think like there's so many different applications, and I think the other part that's muddy in the water is that like we've had different kinds of AI, and like what we call AI, it's just algorithms and things that are taking stuff that's been given to them and processing it the way that it's supposed to process, like it's been programmed to process. It's not actually like artificially intelligent. It's just been trained to take anything that's been put into it and regurgitate things out. And like
it's not actually, none of it's actually artificial intelligence.
Right.
That's like a buzzword like crypto and everything
Yeah.
else. That's where I think it's like all the Wall Street bros and everything are like, oh, this is where we're going to invest our money now and all that stuff because this is the next hot trend. And
yeah,
it's just a learning like our, what do they call it? I forget what it's called, but it's like it's learning language
curve
model. Like the way
the
thing it takes in information that's already out there and then it assimilates that into something new or whatever. So yeah, it is interesting, and we'll see. I mean, I think it's gonna just, I think for like younger generations, it's gonna just become so synonymous with what they do that it won't. I mean, it's gonna be like Clippy in Microsoft Word. Like it'll just be, you're already seeing aspects of that. And, I don't know, but
which I mean, and I think that's the other part that scares me is like, do we lose more of our souls as like human beings with that, where we're not like it used to be like you'd see an album art cover or something, and you're like somebody painted, drew, created that, or took a picture and edited it, you know, in a way that made it look like something.
Yeah.
Even if it was just like in front of a green screen and they've put things, you know, in the background. Now it's like this was just something that you put in the words and it generates it. And that's where I'm like, is there any soul left with some of that stuff?
And I mean, I think honestly to that point, one of the scariest things to me about AI is more of the theory, like the idea of, I've heard people talk about the idea that AI could start creating entertainment. So like imagine Netflix having your profile, they know what you like, and they make you a bespoke show. They make you a show that's just something that you will enjoy. And so
I don't like that.
You're watching a show that nobody else has ever watched. So think about the way that like tears down the kind of the connective tissue of communities, where like I'm telling you about this show I just watched on Netflix, and you're like, oh, I got to check that out. And
it's not
that
there.
just goes away. And everybody's just in like their isolated silos, just like watching their own like bespoke AI television show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that kind of scares me, because I'm like, I think people would like it because it would be so tailored to whatever they're interested in. They're just like, I love this show, but no one else could partake with that or share in that with them. Yeah,
then you go into more of that Fahrenheit. Was that 459? Is that the name of the book?
I don't know. I think
where like everybody was so isolated with like their headphones and everything, and like with whatever they were listening to, there was just like no communication at all. And like thinking about how like different TV shows have become such a flashpoint for human conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
Or movies or anything. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like Game of
book.
Thrones was like that was like almost a decade that we were, you know, that was water cooler fodder.
Yeah.
And just like general conversation. What's going to happen next? What that was insane. What happened at this thing?
And then it just all goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's, I guess, not that I'm scared of that. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, I think it's a place that society could be heading.
Yeah.
And that just seems like a big bummer. I don't know.
Well, we
see.
could get a lot more shows like Beef House.
I don't know what Beef House is.
It was on Comedy Central. It was one season. It was like 5 episodes or 6 episodes or something. It was Tim and Eric.
Oh, right. Was that their kind of like? It was like a fake comedy,
fake sitcom.
or a sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I did watch Beef House. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot that's what the title of it was. That was the one where he pooped the
hot tub. But he was all bunged up, you know.
Yeah, and he had that.
And he had a tube that was connected to him that went back to the Beef House.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That show was pretty good. I don't know why that didn't get renewed.
I know,
for another
right?
season.
Like,
Beef
should have
House.
been there.
Check out Beef House. One of the other, speaking of Beef House,
Yeah.
another exciting things in the world. The Nintendo announced the Switch 2.
Yes.
And I saw that looks cool. And then they announced when you could pre-order it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, now you can't pre-order it. And then their reason was tariffs. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Tariffs are cool. I like tariffs. It's weird that I just feel like a lot of people that probably were, I mean, the people that were staunch Trump supporters are now like, I don't know, what's the saying? The rooster came home to roost. That's not the same.
Cock came home to roost. Is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not the same bird. Maybe
chicken came home to roost. One of the animals came home to roost. But yeah, I think it's weird now that people got what they wanted. Did they really want it? And it's crazy to me because now Nintendo is potentially, it was already a more expensive Nintendo console at $450. And then for them to potentially have to raise that even more because of tariffs is really sucks.
I'd seen some people even suspecting, is that maybe already kind of tariff included, or like,
well, that's what
like
that's
tariff padded,
tariff proofed. I kind of thought that, but then why would they cancel their pre-orders?
Now the canceled pre-order says no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
That was just what they were gonna. That was what they were gonna charge, which feels a little steep. I mean, I think it's, and you and I have talked about this before. Like, it's inevitable that video game pricing is going to go up. It's the fact that it's just stayed relatively the same for so long that then when it does change, or anyone makes the change, it feels so egregious. Like,
I remember being a kid and paying, like, you'd have to pay, like, Donkey Kong Country came out and it was, I think, $80 or $90 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, but usually they were like 50, 60. Now we're looking at $70. But then, I don't know. It's just, I mean, people have been speculating that GTA is going to be $100 and all of that stuff for a while. But I think it's more, the idea that people, I'm trying to understand, wrap my head around what the desired outcome is from these tariffs. And it's like, my basic understanding is that it's going to make people choose American-made products because they will be more inexpensive, is at least the faulty belief.
yes,
But they don't seem to realize that, one, there isn't the job force available in this country to make that stuff here.
Yep.
And especially at the rate that we get it, I mean, whether you agree morally or not, but the cost of labor in other countries is much lower. And the idea that all these Americans who probably have, mostly pretty easy jobs, like a desk job or some office job, like a lot of people kind of have that type of career, are going to choose to go into like a manufacturing
Yeah.
job and work in a factory is just like kind of crazy. And so I'm just like wondering what it is. And I started to look into it a little bit. And one concept that I thought was interesting is that they think people like Trump and some of these manly men, you know,
Manly.
the muchacho, the machismo,
The big
fellas.
stick swingers.
Yes, those
if you
guys.
will.
That they, you know, there's this idea that that men are more feminine when they, you know, don't have like a manual labor job.
Oh, sure.
And so
sure,
that if
sure.
we will change the economy and the culture all at the same time by bringing these jobs to America, and then we're all gonna work in factories,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna be masculine again, I guess, and
Maybe.
not soy boys.
Soy. I don't. The thing that's confusing to me with it is that, I mean, like you said, like we don't have any of that infrastructure built in. Like,
And we want to like deport all the potential workers.
Yeah.
For that.
Yes.
That would, you know, that might do that work.
But I mean, on top of that, like tariffs work when you have the leverage to say, well, we don't have to buy it from you. We'll just do it here, and we'll buy it, you know,
Right.
locally.
Uh-huh.
We don't have any of that, so we don't have any of the leverage. I mean, like what was that? China ended up just matching the tariffs right back.
Yeah.
And it's like, so now the consumers are just paying this much more money because neither is going to, they're just going to continue to match because China's like, go ahead, we make 90% of the things that you have, so
Yeah, and
enjoy.
I just saw tonight a headline that said China is considering banning all of the U.S.'s movies from playing in their country. So, and I mean, you think about
That
it,
would starve out.
like Hollywood makes a big chunk of their money from, you know, Marvel movies playing in China. And,
Yeah.
and so that's
I mean, and even
That
that's
would
even
sting.
that's even with the fact that they like block a lot of different movies just for content
or
purposes,
edit them, censor them, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like that is an export of sorts.
Yeah.
That we have that makes this country. I mean, there's practical blue collar jobs that are based in Hollywood. You know, people are
Sure.
building sets. People are costume designers. People are doing blue collar work in that industry as well. But I don't know. People don't want to consider that, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh well. Guess.
I don't know. I should have shook my fist at the sky earlier tonight because I'm pretty sure it may not have been him, but I saw one of the Air Force Ones in the sky.
Trump was flying around over here.
Yeah,
The Midwest.
Yeah, because you know we got an Air Force base here.
Yeah.
And they will frequently, well, maybe not frequently, but I know I've seen it a couple of different times over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I remember when 9/11 happened, Air Force One came in the
Yeah.
area. So.
Either that or it's like the decoy one that they're just flying around. And
Yeah, I saw them both fly in right
the
after
same time?
9/11, like
Yeah.
one shortly after the other, and then one of them had fighter jets escorting it, and one didn't. And I was like, "Is this a mind game?" Like, because it
Yeah.
seems like it would be obvious that the fighter jets would escort the one with Bush in it,
Right.
but maybe they
Probably
were trying
not.
to trick people,
Yeah.
you know, potential
Yeah.
attackers.
Harrison Ford doesn't need those extra planes.
That's a good point.
He didn't need those.
Yeah, good call.
But no, it was weird because I went out to grab some dinner. That was at like 5:30, and I saw one.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, when I was coming over here at like 7:00, I saw again almost the exact same spot. So either there were two of them that were running, or we got one that just kind of decided to land at the Air Force Base and then take off and is circling.
Oh,
It's kind of weird.
wonder what's going down.
I know. It's unnerving, really, when you see that. Like, why? Because they, especially in town, it's lower in the sky, so you can identify that that's the plane that you're looking at,
Yeah.
or one of the two planes.
You didn't want to salute? You
I
wanna
did. I mean,
shake
I was
your-
trying to keep my hands on the 10 and 2. You know,
Yeah, good. That's a good.
that's
thing to
the
do.
drive safely.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a wise decision. Speaking of the president, him and his boyfriend broke up. I saw.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Trump and Elon.
Oh, okay. I didn't know which one if we were talking about him or JD.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
I don't think JD's. I don't know if he's a boyfriend
I don't know.
material.
I don't know. Okay.
JD,
So they
JD's
broke
like,
up, huh?
what would JD be? I'm trying to think now in this relationship. He's like the weird friend or like the little brother that you try to keep out of the limelight. Or
The friend that you let into your circle that you're like, hey, this guy's cool, and then you get to know him and you're like, all right, well, now he's part of the circle, but we don't really remember why.
I'm just gonna have you yell at the Ukrainian president sometimes. That's
Yeah,
all you do.
You go and do things. Try to make us proud.
Good job. No, I saw that like Elon is not happy about some of the tariff stuff. And seems like maybe, it isn't a home sweet home right now.
Even though his cars are supposedly the most American made. That's, I mean, according to a graphic that I saw that very well could have been
I don't know. It might be
AI'd
true.
or...
I mean, it's probably true to a certain extent. But,
Yeah.
I mean...
Because, I mean, like, even Ford, I think 20 or 30% of their stuff is not made here.
It seems like it's always a misconception. Because, like, people will be like, oh, Honda's Japanese. It's like, well, yeah, they're a Japanese company, but they're more American-made than even some of the American vehicles are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the factories are here. But, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe Elon's time in the White House has come to an end. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. But it seemed like he was the president for a while. Like
It's one of those things that if he is out already, and there's that kind of disgruntledness between the two of them.
Yeah.
The fact that we had somebody that was unelected getting access to the stuff that he got access to.
Just in there doging it up.
Just to me, it seems all the more reckless.
Yeah.
If he's not somebody that is going to stand with you for forever. I mean, he brought the president a car.
That's true.
A whole fleet of cars to pick from.
And then they did like an advertisement for all the Teslas. Or Teslers.
Teslers.
Trump says.
Get yourself a Tesla.
Teslers are nice.
Very
They're
nice.
very good cars. The best Teslers.
Get the best Teslers.
Then we have all the Teslers. It's all computer.
Yeah.
What he said.
There's the whole thing's computer in here.
Yeah. It really felt like a Tim and Eric sketch. I don't know. It was so weird.
Well, then I see that and I'm like, has this man driven a car in the last 50 years? Like,
no, he
lives in New York City or probably
Florida.
has had a driver that drives him everywhere.
Yeah, people drive him around in Florida to his golf course. He probably has a golf cart driver and a golf
I think I've seen pictures of him driving a golf cart, so I think he drives those.
Okay, you just
but I don't know
my fake news. I was trying to.
I don't. Oh, maybe he hasn't though. I don't know. Maybe he was just sitting in.
I'm just gonna start a rumor that Trump doesn't know how to drive.
He doesn't know how to. He doesn't even know how to drive a golf cart.
Yeah, those are scary. Which foot goes on which pedal?
Both feet on both pedals.
That seems like a bad idea. But if you're Donald Trump, it's good. Make pedals great again.
Have pedals not been great?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I know I test drove a Tesla once.
Yeah.
And you don't really use the brake pedal at all in them.
Okay.
Which is weird, because when you accelerate and then you can't just let your foot off the gas like you can in a gas vehicle. It almost stops the car. So when you decelerate, you have to slowly let your foot off the throttle, and the car starts slowing down on its own to where it'll come to a complete stop when your foot's off the pedal, and you don't really need to use the brake. I mean, you still can put your foot on the brake if you're concerned, but it's really a weird. it felt like I would want the self-driving because it would take me so long to get used to that.
It's almost like a golf cart.
Yeah, or a
You,
go-kart or something
Yeah,
like that.
because like most of the time you let your foot off, it's going to slow down enough. You just are putting your foot on the brake to like get to that final stop, but you're slowing down and everything. Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never even been inside a Tesla.
I mean, I was like a Model Y. It was really cool. I don't know, but it was all
Yeah.
computers.
It was all computers. You got to look out for them computers and the Teslers.
Yeah, the Tesla. We had it self-drive us back to the dealership, and it decided to take us to a Taco Bell instead, which was fun.
Wait, did it really not
Yeah.
like take you to the wrong place?
It got to the right to the dealership, and then it started to slow down to turn, and then it just like hesitated a little, and then it just kept going, and then it turned into the Taco Bell parking lot
Because it was right next to it.
and then parked in the parking spot at Taco Bell. I was like, oh,
Were you with like a sales representative?
yeah, and he's like, it's never done this before. This is the
I
first time.
swear.
I was like,
He knows where he's going every day. I mean, it
Yeah.
knows.
the Tesla wanted fourth meal. That's all I can. I mean, I don't.
I can
blame
respect
it.
that.
Yeah, I don't blame.
I can
it.
respect that.
Who wouldn't want Taco Bell?
It's a good time.
The Tesla would like Taco Bell. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm wondering. I don't want to be a downer, but like some of the stuff with the way the country's headed, I'm like, this is so weird. The world that these older dudes want to make, and like it feels very restrictive, and like they want to try to force their agenda on the younger generation.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it today, and I was like, this is probably a stupid, unformed thought, so hang with me for a second.
Those are my
used to
favorites.
those. Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
I was thinking that I just have this note written down that says, the Call of Duty will be a civil war for Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is that like it feels like we're headed to a place where we're gonna, like, younger generations are gonna have to at some point fight for the things that they actually do like to do or enjoy, the pastimes and hobbies,
Right.
and like video games. I think there's probably gonna be a perception where those are for, lazy soy boys, and we want man's men. We want manly men working in factories.
Yeah.
Or we
Enough
want
of this playing games
morbidly
as an
obese
adult.
dudes at sewing machines making Nikes. That's what this country needs.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you're a man, there's a certain thing. Men don't play video games and they don't do these other activities. And I just wonder, at what point does the younger generation go, no, I do want these things, and I'm gonna have to stand up somehow. So Civil War was the logical conclusion I made.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. I mean, do they? But do none of them want to work in that way? That's the other part. Like, none of them want to work in that way.
Every Gen Z, every kid you talk to right now, I mean, it's telling, just because even in Target, they have an influencer section where you can buy microphones and headphones and YouTube gear to become an influencer. That's what every next gen kid, that's the job they want.
That's where our studio came from.
Right. This is the iPad studio. We're iPad
The
adults.
iPad studio.
But yeah, I think it's interesting because it's like kids that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I've even told my kids, like, this is probably bad parenting, but I kind of believe there's like a future where there's the rich elite, then there's like, I would maybe not poverty, but definitely below middle class, like working class type people. And I think the only other category will be in like entertainers of some sort. But like, this is my dystopian future I'm painting.
Okay. Paint me a picture.
So it's like, you've got the working class, you've got entertainers, influencer culture, and then you got the rich elite people, and that's kind of it. And,
Interesting.
And I'm like, I think I could see that happening. I think as Hollywood is slowly kind of going downhill. People are less interested in it more and more. Like younger generations I mean, they supported the Minecraft movie. That was a big deal. All the kids loved that.
Have you seen it?
No,
Okay.
I missed it because all my family went to see it, and I had other plans, and I didn't go see it. So I need to. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it either.
I heard there was just like people getting rowdy in the Minecraft theaters. They had
Really?
to call the police at some of them. Like anything would come on screen that the kids recognized from Minecraft, and they just freak out. They're screaming, and I don't know. None of my family experienced that. But
that
yeah,
sounds like fun.
I think you got like the entertainer class, and it's like all these creators on YouTube and TikTok and other platforms who are entertaining the working class, and probably to a certain extent entertaining the elite too, because they're just watching whatever content.
They're kind of that in between.
Or maybe the content creators are some sort of AI liaisons that are creating content through prompting AI or something like
now
that.
see, now we go backwards, and maybe just maybe it's just AI content that's created, and those content creators
don't exist. They're all just
there's your dystopian
personas.
future. Yeah,
not personas, fursonas.
Fursonas,
like furries.
Okay,
but they're not real. But they're like a persona, but they're furry personas.
Interesting. So you didn't go with versona, like a virtual persona,
because they're all furries. It's all the weird.
They're all gonna. Are they going to be like
the perverts?
Visually furries.
The visual. It's I mean, the creators of the personas will be perverts.
Okay.
And then they'll entertain the working class and the rich elite with their personas. That's all.
And probably the poor.
Yeah, the working class.
Yeah, us
lower
poors.
Class. The poors will like the personas.
Yeah.
Will live vicariously through their pervert behavior. That's just where it's going.
I think you lost me with the pervert furry.
I'm just saying. I just assume all furries are perverts.
I understood that. Okay. That part I got. I think I lost where the AI entertainers just became furries.
They're the ones behind the scenes pulling the AI strings.
Oh, okay. I'm tracking.
They're typing
now.
in the prompts. They're typing. They're really.
They're
good.
providing all the information.
They're the really good prompt creators.
Okay.
Although I suppose at some point AI will just get smart enough. That call back to the Netflix show. That's going to be really embarrassing if like the show that it creates for you is just super super awkward. Like it is like.
I think you should leave with Tim Robinson.
No, I'm thinking it's something embarrassing. Like it's some random. You like searched what does guillot mean, and then you searched on the internet like what's a furry, and then this Netflix AI confuses what you want, and they make you like a big butt pervert furry show. And
it's
then it just like
furries with assless chaps.
It's like Guillot Furry Adventures is Kyle's favorite show. And then it just comes
But they're just like doing mundane things. Like not even like trying to be sexual. Even though there's butts all over the place.
It's all because of your TikTok algorithm, and it's just furries like cooking eggs or something.
just living a normal life in their house.
You call or text somebody up and you're like, have you seen
Furry
this show?
And they're like, what are you talking about?
I can't relate. But have you seen my show? It's called Turtles on a Sailboat, and I like it a lot.
Are they like just regular turtles?
Yeah, they're not ninja turtles or mutants. They're just
turtles that sail the world.
Yeah.
Do they have adventures or just they fish with fishing poles?
No, I think it's just it's AI, so it doesn't really matter. But if it was real life, they would ultimately starve to death. They're just turtles set out on a sailboat, and you just watch them.
They just can't get out.
No, and they're in the middle of the ocean.
They can't jump into the ocean where they would survive. You're basically watching them.
But the AI created the show, so it would just be. I would just enjoy the fiction of it. But in real life, it would be sad and tragic. So
How come you get a more interesting show and I get the furries?
I just think your search history is probably why.
Probably why.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's.
I've searched for things like basketball news.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean like
what?
that was one of the things I was looking at today because my team fired their coach with like 5 days left in the season. So
With the Nuggets,
yeah,
they fired their coach.
they fired their coach.
Why? What'd he do?
Nothing. They just have had problems. So
Like the
their
team.
general manager did not get a new contract. He is essentially done, and so is the coach. The two of them apparently had just bad beef that caused a lot of turmoil internally.
The GM and the coach.
Yeah, general manager. So
All right.
yeah, so they just were like,
who owns the
we're
Nuggets?
the Cronkies.
The who?
The Cronkies.
Like, is that like Steve Irwin's catchphrase family?
No, not Crikey. Cronky. Kronke.
Oh, it's like the drink where when you get so drunk you're cronky.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I know
they're
that's
real estate moguls, I believe,
Oh,
and
they
I think
all
that
are.
I think that there's the Stan. He's the dad of the family, and then his son Josh. The two of them basically run everything. And I think Stan's wife is related to the Walton family. So there's some Walmart
money
crossover.
in there.
But they own the Nuggets. They own the Colorado Avalanche. They own the Colorado Rapids. They own the Los Angeles Rams. And then they own Arsenal in England. So
It's
they've got a bit of an empire.
It seems weird to fire your coach in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would cause like morale in the team to drop pretty dramatically and affect the performance of that team. But I mean, on the flip side, I mean the Lakers got a new coach in the offseason and that seemed to work out for them all right.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they also got Luka Doncic on the dumbest move of the year.
I mean, I think it's pretty great.
Well, I mean, for a Lakers fan, it's a great move. It was a great move for them.
Brilliant strategy.
For Dallas to have given that away
I miss
for peanuts, and that's not to say anything about Anthony Davis, but I think he's only
a good
played
player. He's
only
just
played
injured.
2 games, I think, for Dallas. Maybe
it didn't. It was a bad timing, but AD was good. He had some good moments.
He had his moments.
He had some big games
I think,
last season.
I think
even early this season he did.
Yeah, I think he was one of those guys that had a lot of talent and a lot of potential that just for whatever, I don't know if it was just the injuries over his career that just kind of overall
I mean, you're a big
tanked
guy,
but
and you play that. He played pretty hard. Like I could see why you'd hurt yourself when you're that.
Yeah,
the harder they fall, the bigger they tall.
Yeah,
I think
I think that's the one. So, yeah, it's been a day.
Well, my condolences.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get a better coach that will take them to victory.
We'll see. I mean, Malone was the all-time winning coach for them. He'd been there for 10 years, won their first title. So, tough times.
Did they announce a new coach already or not?
No, they just announced an interim coach they're like he's going to be their coach through the playoffs. So
Steve Brule?
It is not Steve Brule.
That's too bad.
That would have been an interesting one.
Check it out. I haven't seen that TV show, but
You haven't seen that TV show?
No, I've seen Steve Brule. I was thinking of
you're thinking of the Winning Time.
That's it, the HBO show. Yeah.
You haven't seen it.
I want to watch that.
I am surprised that you haven't, because that's like Lakers.
Yeah, have you watched it?
I have.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to watch it.
It's one of those that the Lakers are like the Yankees.
Your mom is like
basketball.
The Yankees.
No, I'm just saying, they are the team that has arguably the only other team that you could really compare to the Yankees in basketball are the Celtics, because those two teams have had the most success overall throughout the course of the NBA history. Yeah, I agree, and I think the Lakers suck too.
Boo! Go away. We're done.
That show, I was like, I hate how much I'm like interested in what happened to the Lakers, because it's just like the way that it played out. It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
That whole era of basketball in the late 70s into the 80s with the Lakers is wild.
Yeah.
Because they were nobodies before that.
Right. Well, it's just, I mean, where did they start though? What city?
They'd been in Minneapolis.
It was Minneapolis, right?
Yep,
Okay,
which is why they were the Lakers. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's interesting too. I mean, I really became a fan of the Lakers in high school. Just, I mean, the Kobe Shaq era was just undeniably one of the most fun eras of basketball in my mind to watch. And so, but yeah, that definitely won me over. Anyways,
yeah, it's a good show.
But I'll check it out.
I was very bummed that they only did the 2 seasons and then canceled it.
Well, maybe
because there seemed like there was more story to tell.
It's not. Maybe John C. Reilly is looking for work.
Maybe.
And maybe the Denver Nuggets will hire him.
Maybe they'll hire him. That'd be great.
I don't even know if he was actually a coach in that show.
He was the owner. So
okay, so I'm wrong now.
Yeah. What's his? I don't remember what his name is.
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel.
Really?
He was a coach. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And so was Adrian Brody.
I didn't know Jason Segel was in that show until like way after it was already over.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at his IMDb and I was like, wait a second, Jason Segel was in this?
Yep.
I don't even recall seeing him in the trailers for the show, but
yeah.
And then I saw he was, so anyways. All right, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
It's a good one.
There's your sports hour.
There's your sports.
Sports minute. On the nines, sports.
You know, if we're going to change it from sports, I don't know. I don't even know what time we're at, but did you see that we're playing Jurassic Park now? In like the real world with some wolves?
I saw that a news headline that said dire wolves are here.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Like from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Same company that's supposedly working on trying to bring back woolly mammoths too.
I saw that. That's weird. It feels like our ecosystem is something that's probably delicate, and maybe bringing back to life things that naturally went extinct is a bad idea. I don't know.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, and we're not even talking like went extinct because we overhunted them.
Yeah.
At least as far as we know, right?
Maybe. I mean, maybe the woolly mammoths went.
Maybe we did.
Although, like wolves and woolly, a woolly mammoth is kind of like an elephant. They seem to get along fine out in where they're at now.
Yeah.
Other than from poachers and stuff. So maybe I'd be a little more worried about like a dinosaur. A
dinosaur would be bad.
Carnivorous form. I feel like we saw how that played out every time.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wouldn't be that bad, Maybe we'd manage it okay. We seem to know how to do zoos.
That's
in
true.
America.
That's true.
Here in Omaha, we've got the #1 zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we could have dinosaurs there eventually. And
I think I would feel better with the dinosaurs just being on a remote island. I think they had the right idea.
Oh, okay. Except
keep them away
they
from.
Shouldn't have made pterodactyls then.
Right. Nothing that can get out.
Yeah, that can fly. And make sure they're still dumb so they can't, end up like my turtles in the AI show.
Yeah, let's not genetically enhance them.
And they're not going to be sailing a boat to the mainland.
Wait, okay, now your turtles are intelligent dinosaurs.
No, I'm just saying if they were intelligent enough to get on boats.
Oh, okay, I see.
In the AI show, people just put these turtles on.
I was going to say, I didn't think that they were. I thought they just found themselves there and.
People are going to be like mishearing this and searching their Netflix.
Like, what is this show?
Yeah, what's the show with the turtles on the boat? It's AI, it's fake, it's not real, people.
But all of their names are the same as the Ninja Turtles. They just aren't Ninja Turtles. They're just regular turtles.
They're all Renaissance artists.
Yeah. Or maybe they're like modern artists, like Banksy.
Yeah. Banksy, the only modern artist. Name one other one, Kyle.
I don't know. You could make the argument for like within the last 100 years, right?
Bob Ross.
Let's throw Bob Ross, Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
Who'd be our fourth?
We need a real artist, Kyle.
We've got Banksy. We've got Ross. We got Warhol.
We're uncultured swine. We can't even think of 4 artists of the last 100 years. Kanye West.
Too controversial.
Peak art. I mean, he's been right about a lot of things, so who knows?
Has he? Has he?
He was the first one to call out George Bush for not liking black people.
Oh man, I saw a tweet about that. That was his moment. Was that George Bush didn't like black people, and that's why he wasn't in the Super Bowls.
Yep.
Because of that, because of Taylor, and something else.
Something about a swastika.
Yeah.
You know, maybe being a Nazi gets you in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we give our Patreons something? Our patrons?
I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to stick around to find out what we're giving them.
Maybe just a minute of just like slurping sodas.
Slurping sodas and more. Stay tuned for that. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you get the secret cut
sauce
of stuff. I hope you have something for our patrons.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I actually went through my things.
I don't either.
Do we have a fourth artist that we can find?
Okay, so you need, how many artists are there? What are modern artists?
Know.
Let's do this live. We'll Google it. Modern artists that are well known from the last 100 years. I Google like a boomer.
Yeah.
Okay. Pablo Picasso.
Oh, right there. That was an easy one.
I didn't know. I thought Picasso was way older. Like I thought he was like 17th century or something.
So our turtles would potentially
Andy
be
Warhol, Jackson Pollock.
Oh, Pollock. Yep, there we go. I recognize that name.
Gerard Richter, Jean-Michel Basquiat, but Cindy Sherman. I don't know any of these.
Yeah,
but I did just think of another one, and very funny.
Okay,
Thomas Kincaid.
Who's Thomas Kincaid?
He has all those like paintings in Christian bookstores. They're like, your grandma has those paintings in her house, probably. If you just Google Thomas Kincaid, I know exactly what paintings he's made. Because they all look kind of the same.
Okay.
They have like a very bespoke look that you can't really get anywhere else. So yeah,
they're like a bespoke Bob Ross. Like
Kind
Bob
of.
Ross looks like they're all the same, but they're all like real world.
Yeah.
And this looks like this has got like an extra little.
So if the Ninja Turtles were made like way in the future and they were looking back at artists' names, it would be Bob Ross, Thomas Kincaid, Banksy. That's got to be Michelangelo, right? The counter, like the 1-to-1.
Probably.
And what else did we say? Andy
Picasso
Warhol?
or Warhol.
I don't know.
You probably would put Andy Warhol
like-
above Bob Ross.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go Kincaid, Warhol, Banksy, and Pablo Picasso, right?
Picasso, it's crazy. He lived from 1881 to 1973.
I did not realize that he was that recent.
Yeah. I didn't either.
Being in the 19, like somewhere between 19 and 2000.
That's gotta be crazy. That's like, that's like us. Like kids are gonna look back at us and be like, "You were born in the 80s, the 1980s,
1980s."
That's
Really?
crazy. You're so old and weird."
Yeah, especially if you get to especially if we get to like 2060, 2070.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because it's like when you look at the different eras of this, like you had like, what was the first age of like farming? What would you call that? What is that called? I forgot what it's called. We'll call it the farming age.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then
I think so, yeah.
And then the next big one was like the industrial age.
Right.
And then you had
what was after that?
I don't know, the other ages. But I think like when you look at the internet, I feel like that was probably one of, I think that the information age, I would say that was probably the next one after.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one where we were like born before that, but then
Yeah, we were like that
came in,
weird
entered
little...
into the information age. But I do kind of think, I mean, we were talking about AI earlier. I do think this is going to be one of those pivotal moments, kind of like the information age, like
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. I mean, I don't know. It is going to be, there's good and bad, but I do think
Well,
people are going to look back at this era and
Yeah.
go, oh, okay, this is when a lot of stuff changed. A lot of
Right.
automation started happening and stuff like that.
It'll be interesting. I mean, we won't be able to see it, but it'll be interesting what history actually looks back on this era as, because it's all, I mean, like, we're talking 25, 30 years, whereas, like, I think, like, the Industrial Revolution, like, those different eras took a long time for a lot of that stuff to...
Agriculture age, that's what I was thinking.
There we
of.
go.
Sorry. Anyways, what were you saying?
It took a long time for those things to develop. Like,
Yeah.
the era that they look at is of, like, hey, this is where these things started showing up, and then these tools were given. The fact that we all have all these tools so quick, like, I mean, we're 35 year swing
Yep.
of time where suddenly we have not only the information, but like you said, like, the AI now is on this back end of it. Like, are they even going to be able to differentiate any of it the way that I think that you and I, having been born, you know, in the 80s, can really conceptualize, like, oh, we had none of this stuff, and then we had a computer in our room.
Mm-hmm. And now you got
with
people,
the internet.
Now you got, like, people talking about having AI girlfriends. Like,
right.
It's big in Japan now. So you don't really, I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah.
You got a microwave. You got the internet.
Yeah, you get one of those bodysuit things that'll put you in VR or something.
A waifu body pillow. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I mean like
a
Ready Player One suit that, like, haptic. You can feel things.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
then you can just go into a virtual role. And
you got VR.
Yeah.
And then you can talk to your waifu girlfriend,
Yeah.
your AI waifu girlfriend, while you hold your waifu body pillow.
Yeah.
It's all, you're set. You don't need to leave your house. You work from home.
My gosh.
You have your groceries.
What kind of future are we building?
We're just... It's like that.
Yeah, your groceries delivered.
Yeah. See, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You're good. We don't have to go anywhere.
I mean, you could still save a couple bucks by just having them shop for you and then picking it up yourself. But, you know, in the future.
Yeah.
How do they tariff that though?
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to remember. There was that Chinese city that doesn't really exist anymore. I think it was like Kowloon walled city or something like that, where it's just like...
Is that the one where Iron Fist was from?
No, it's like maybe, but it was like, it's a real city at one time, but it's like everything was just stacked on top of each other, and they just kept building infrastructure on top of infrastructure, and it was super just kind of wonky, no code, no really any building code or anything like that. And it's kind of like you would envision kind of like a cyberpunk futuristic city in some ways.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just always thought the concept of that was kind of cool, where your communities were so... I mean, you probably could go without seeing the sun, because if you lived in the lower areas, you could go to work and go to... I don't know.
That gives me anxiety.
It does.
Just thinking about not having any real code or anything.
Yeah. It was kind of, if you look it up, it's kind of horrifying when you see the way they were built, the way the people lived in there. And there were like millions of people living in this city.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever seen any pictures of it. You can Google it later, but there is a castle that was built in Colorado, called Bishop's Castle. Some guy just started building a castle in this land that he had, right?
Okay.
You can go and see it. It's unfinished. There are warning signs everywhere saying enter at your own risk. Like, nothing is up to a code or anything like that. And he eventually got told, you literally cannot do anything more without bringing things up to code. Because you can climb up this thing, and like there are places in it like I got up into a certain areas of it, and I'm like,
So you've been there.
yeah, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not going any higher than this. Like
Yeah.
I can feel it moving.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, it is something else.
That's like, have you seen the videos of the lady that started mining under her house?
No.
She just started digging a tunnel in her basement, and she was going, I don't know how many hundreds of feet she had gone, and she started documenting it on TikTok, and like she kept pulling out like these carts and wheelbarrows of concrete and rock and stone, and she was like, she seemed to be pretty intelligent about what she was doing. She was building the structure well. It wasn't caving in or anything, but because she was posting it online, people got her shut down. And then somehow she like got, I don't know, she got the permits or something to keep doing it, and I don't know. You can look her up. It's very weird though. It's weird. I think there's just people don't think of stuff because you just kind of live a normal life, and you're like, well, there's no reason I'm crazy enough to think I should build a tunnel under my house. But then some people do, and they just do it.
Was she like building like place to live, or just like
It's just in a basement? I don't think so. I think,
digging straight down.
No, like kind of. I mean, kind of down at an angle. It wasn't straight down. So it's. I mean, imagine Minecraft. Like,
I was gonna say like we're just going straight down to bedrock. Is that what we're trying to do?
She wasn't going straight down. Just kind of down to the to an angle.
Okay.
Just wild.
Is she going digging off to the sides? Every few blocks to get diamonds and other things.
I think so. She ran into some zombies and things, had to stop. It's like even in the house I'm in here, this is an old house, almost 100-year-old house.
Yeah.
And there's a house in this neighborhood. People would just do whatever they want. They do crazy stuff. There's a house somewhere in this neighborhood that they discovered a tunnel in, where it was like a big house where this rich government leader or whatever lived, and he dug a tunnel to his mistress's house so he could sneak out at night and go over there.
Jeez.
And then come back without his wife being any the wiser,
That's crazy.
It's like, go to sleep, and then I'm gonna go into my tunnel and go visit my mistress across the neighborhood. And people just do it, and we couldn't get away with any of that now. So
no. But like, how do you like? Did they fill that in then? Like,
I don't know if they.
Can you imagine
it in, or
like
they just blocked it up?
That's one of those things that you're a new house owner, and then you like decide to go and make adjustments to something on the wall, and you discover there's a door behind one of the walls. You're like, what is this? And then there's a tunnel that leads someplace.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, anyways,
nightmare fuel.
Watch out. My discovery in an old house fantasy is always money. Or
that's
gold,
the one. Yeah.
Gold doubloons or something cool. That's
Have you found
rich
them yet?
Stuff. I want rich stuff, as the Goonies would say. No, I haven't. But I should just start tearing up walls. See what I find. Anyways.
You'd probably just find copper.
That's true. That's good. I could be a copper pirate. That's what I'm gonna do.
I don't think it works when it's like your own copper.
Yeah,
though.
you run out.
That's like a bad situation.
You run out of copper pipe, and then you don't have any more running water.
Yeah, don't do that to your own copper pipe.
Don't do that. Keep your copper pipe
Pro
safe.
tip.
Steal your neighbor's copper pipe.
That was a mic drop.
There it is. Cool. I don't know how long we went there. I felt longer, but we were talking for a while, so it is kind of nice having that. Oh, it's an hour, so it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's like nice having that on there. When the sunlight's out, you don't see the reflection, so I kind of left it. But man, once it started going down,
yeah,
you notice it.
I figured you would. After last week, I was like, as soon as he gets a faint hint of this, it's gonna.
It's the foot.